All right, November 19th. So welcome. We may have a few more people joining us in progress. So no, Jamie had some different questions about it. I tried to send you those. I'm trying to explain the PDFs and how they work. That's pretty much the best way to explain it is the PDFs, how they work and stuff. So it's a process. I'll explain it. So hey Tanya, how are you? How have you been?
I'm super. I'm so excited to be part of this tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can get you on board. I can get you over
Yeah.
your Springfield kit. So I'm going to explain a little bit how that works tonight. But let me go ahead and bring up just so we can kind of, like I said, Doris has been in about 3 years, and Jamie for about 2 years. We're gonna have a couple other people join us tonight. So um, it just depends. I try to open up, and we never really, we don't really, and everybody will tell you, I pretty much try to, if people aren't able to make it, I try to make sure they get the video. I don't put the Thursday night video up public. This one I probably won't either, but I do try to get it out to the people in the group because once people are in, it's like I talk to everybody like everybody's here. But obviously everybody has stuff coming up, and I try to make sure that you probably already noticed that. I try to make sure people get all the information they need. And it's the AI stuff is really was what's separating us now. And I think Jamie and Doris could both tell you a lot of people came on board when all we did was have those resources in the files tab, which you haven't seen yet because you're not in that group yet. I'll send you that invite. But we have probably over 250 downloads in there. So a lot of people we were networking doing these sessions for the last couple of years before 2 years ago, we got lenders. We had about 10 or 12 lenders come on board in the group, and they were actually talking about it. We were doing the networking the Thursday nights. We're doing a lot of different stuff. And people were presenting. A lot of the lenders and stuff were talking to people. But this AI is just game changer. So it's phenomenal.
It's awesome.
Cool. So I'll go ahead and bring up.
So, Jamie, are you using the AI piece?
I am not. I've signed up, but I haven't been in it yet, really. So
Yeah, we've had a few people that have got it, like Bill Janagelis, who he might be on tonight. He's in San Francisco. So obviously it's 3 o'clock there, so we may not be. That's the only bad thing about doing Wednesdays. And on some nights we've had people on like the East Coast when we start at like 5 Denver time. They're like, hey, it's like 7 here. What if they got kids? So that's
Yeah.
another reason we make the videos. Bill was actually called me on Saturday when he onboarded. He's been around 2 years, and Bill basically was onboarding. He was putting the prompt in while I was on the phone with him. So I didn't expect it all to go. Literally in 15 minutes on the call, I heard it come alive. Like he was really excited about it. So it's kind of cool that way.
yeah,
To be able to actually hear somebody actually doing the process. He called me on the phone because there's there's two different things. I'm gonna type real quick. It's live. Make sure everybody can see this. Everybody can. Cool. And like I said, feel free to have any questions. If it and I can go. I usually plan these about an hour. We can go longer. And what normally also will happen on Thursday nights and some nights is people want to talk about deals or specific deals. We can turn the recording off after the first hour, and I can spend an hour or two helping people with deals. So we try to do that. I've cut back on doing the Mondays because we can do Mondays and I can do anything that if people ask me in advance. But a lot of times we try to set up Mondays and I don't know, whatever, Monday Night Football and stuff. Get a lot of that
sure.
going on. So cool. I'm typing in. So it's taking a second to load. So one of the things I'm going to tell everybody who hasn't used it real quick, who haven't used it a lot, there's a when you use the tabs, when you use the chats, sometime like you use them for like a couple days or a week, they can get a lot of information in it, so they're a little bit slower. Whereas if I go up here and I put a brand new chat in, it'll recognize, it'll be much faster. It's just because it has to go through all the information. So think about like, you fill a tape or fill an old VHS tape or something, or something that fills up its information. It can slow down a little bit, kind of bog down. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do, I'm going to try to hit refresh on this. And sometimes it does that. So let's see if I go ahead and try to do, yeah, so it needs a second. It needs a second just to wake up a little bit. Cool. So give me 1 second while I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it to, like I said, it's sometimes it fills up and it's just a little bit of a, just so you guys, I try to tell you guys the little glitches and stuff with it.
Yeah.
So it's thinking and it's putting in the information. So yeah, so
Jamie, where are you investing?
Well, I really haven't started yet. I'm really kind of new at all this stuff. I'm in Minnesota, so I've identified several properties in Minnesota that I'm interested in,
Oh, cool.
but I'm really at the new point. So I think from what I'm understanding about this sounds like a really good model and tool.
yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and real quick try to fix it's just like I said, it's just a little slow. So on that, on the sharing. So you guys able to let me get back to it. Oh, cool. I'm trying to get it back on. Just some tech. So I went back. So a lot of times, like I said, there's times when you guys it'll, you know, so what happens is, like I said, it fills up a little bit. It just kind of gets a little slow down when it's thinking. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to go through real quick. I'm going to show you guys a couple of things on it first. So you guys saw me post about the what they call the notice of demand, right? The NAD. So let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. I've got to go down here and pull it up real quick and get it for you. Okay, here you guys go. It's starting to come up a little bit. And then I got the NED also. So the NED, when I put in the ask anything, so you guys just saw where I put that document. It's actually what they call the notice of election and demand. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll back up and start this real quick. Okay, so the AHJ is normally what they call the authority having jurisdiction. So in this system, that would be like a county clerk, a public trustee, a sheriff. Think people like that deal with the properties, sheriff has auction, foreclosures, auctions. So basically what it does is when you use the prompt, so you use the whole system, you onboard, and that's a 10-step process, and it takes about 30 minutes. It can take a little longer because step 4 is the buy box. I may show it again at the end of the night, but it's actually pretty straightforward. Step 1 is everybody has to have, the GPT-5 or 5.1 now, which they came out 5.1, it automatically updates. That's the $20 a month subscription from OpenAI. Step 2 is the Bitly link. There's a link that I have that basically sets you up, and you get the prompt assistant, which is, if you guys look at the left side of my sidebar over here where it says RCIC prompt assistant, and I'll show that to you guys at the end of the night after I go through this. Actually, once you have that, then you follow the steps, you do the onboarding, you tell it who it is, you put in your buy box. Like I said, you want to put in be very specific, be more detailed and specific than you'd be in a Facebook group, because this is where the accuracy and the intelligence comes. It actually learns it. You are training it. You are training the AI to actually, if you're looking at single family, if you're looking at mobile homes, whatever you're looking at, you want to be as detailed as possible on what you're looking at. And then the next step is your markets. So in your markets, if you are working in like Pennsylvania, like Doris, or you're working somewhere like we have some people in Dallas, or Bill in San Francisco, Northern California. You want to put in those counties and zip codes. Counties and zip codes are more important than cities of the state. So always search by county and zip code, because that's also going to hit up your AHJs, and it's going to hit up all your foreclosure lists, which are all public records. So this pulls public records. Like I said, right now there's over 6,000 pre-foreclosures in the Columbus, Ohio area. And last week in Arapahoe County, Colorado, which is only about 10, 12 miles from where I live, I was able to pull 19 of these NEDs, these notice of election demand, which is what I showed you here, which is so it's pretty cool. The notice of election demand is when the mortgage company lien holder files the actual paperwork with the county, or the whatever AHJ, the county clerk, public trustee, will start the foreclosure process. It's going through pre-foreclosure. In some cases, I got in Lakewood, Colorado, near me. I got it on September. It was filed on September 11th. I got it on September 18th. There is a foreclosure auction in January. So you have 4 months to basically contact the property owner, the homeowner. It's pretty cool that, so you got some time to work on it. The other good thing is actually will give you a strategy. You guys are going to see one in a minute, but I pull up and it talks about the strategy, and it really goes in depth. This goes in depth. It gives you a strategy for everything. It gives you a framework. So here you got your city layer, your county layer, your state layer, and your federal layer. These are all your different codes, violations, foreclosure, trustees, probate courts. It also does probate courts. But courts are usually a different system, but you can program it. And with there's 4 PDFs, that onboarding PDF, but you also get a PDF that basically helps you with your market. Once everybody's onboarding, I will actually try to even set you up with the main prompt. There's a prompt that I've built that basically all you have to do is plug and play your county and zip codes. And when you put the prompt in, which is the prompt bar here where you see ask anything, you enter that prompt. It's going to basically populate those counties, and it's going to start searching those counties, all their public records. I'm going to hopefully try to trigger it tonight. It doesn't always happen, but it'll actually put a little bit of a link on it where I could go directly to Arapahoe County, Colorado, or I could go to, the different counties and states directly, where I was able to pull these lists. When I pulled up the Arapahoe County ones, I literally got the link about 8:05 in the morning. By 8:10, I had all 3. I had the NED, the notice of election demand. I also had the pre-sale list, which also had all the lenders bidding. So so you get all this information, and the NED and the all these have all the homeowner information, property owner. So, and it has their contact information because they're public filing. Now, it will not show those on the screen because OpenAI won't generate private information, but you get the actual documents from the court, so you don't need it, or from the county clerk. So it'll be on those documents. You also get another one called Continuance, basically which shows people, the continuance document shows people when the homeowners are trying to cure it, if there's a short sale agreement. So it updates. It's like a court filing where people can go on and find out when the lawyers have filed for motions and stuff. So it's kind of cool. So you guys see in here, you get down on new filings, you get upcoming sales, and this goes over distress signal, not just foreclosures. It goes into vacancies. You can get evictions. You can get probate court, continuances, nuisance properties, vacant or dangerous buildings. You can pull the permit information, tax delinquencies. You get access to the tax assessor, and they do this. It's almost the same process as a foreclosure, and then it ranks them. So you get the equity, you get an urgency, you get the condition, you get a strategy. It's awesome that way. So when you see a resident, it doesn't mean guy with a list. It means somebody knows exactly where the distress starts in their city and gets to it before the proptech vendors and guru funnels. So like I said, your Deal Stream or Deal Machine, PropStream, Deal Machine, Goliath, all those investor lift, they don't even see these before. You probably have a 3 or 4 months head start. So this is one in Arapahoe County, Colorado, which is in a country club. It's off Fundy. This is actually not a good one. I pulled up 2 in Arapahoe County and I can show you guys. I'll send you guys the PDFs and you can look at it. And so there's, because obviously I know sometimes people can't see the writing too well, the text. So I'll send you the PDFs afterwards, and you can actually read them, what's going on at the properties. So this one is they got the NED, they got a pre-sale list, we got the continuance list, we got the lender bids and debt. I was able to get all that in seconds. So it's basically going to go and ingest it. It's going to go through it. It's going to see if it's an equity play, if it's pure distress or loss mitigation play, which means you may not have any interest as an investor, but it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt to reach out to the homeowner or something and try to help them find a solution, because maybe you can help them, even if you don't end up buying the property. And it'll tell you if it's going to be hot, cold, or a landmine. So this is 36737 South Fundy Way in Aurora, Colorado. People can Google it and you can see it. It pulls up. It's awesome. It's actually a pretty nice house. It would need very little rehab. So the debt in this one, and I'll send you guys the PDF so you can see all this. It actually plays it out. I'm just kind of going through it right now. So the debt is higher than value. The lender bid, I got the lender bid. It shows negative equity on this house. So it's going to show you if it has equity, if it's worth it. And you can get as many as you want. Like here, there's this other one on South Country Club Parkway, whereas the one on Fundy Way is not a good play. It's a high distress, low equity. It's what they call a human help scenario. So it tags it correctly, so you don't have to chase it. You can just forget about it. So if you pull up an NED, if you pull up one of these lists and you get it, you can automate this where it goes to your inbox. It doesn't actually send them to your inbox. It sends you the link and it takes you back here to your GPT. It'll pull up all the NEDs and stuff, and it'll take you to the jurisdiction where you can actually pull it. It's easy. You don't have, I mean, it literally takes I've learned how to do this just on the fly. So you get the onboarding stuff and it's quick. Like I said, I got the 3 documents straight from their website within 5 minutes. I had them all, and I was able to look up Fundy Way and Country Club Parkway. So Country Club Parkway is a conventional loan. It actually has the net amount is around the 500,000s. So you get their AVMs, you get there in the high 800s, low 900s, the value. And so you got a real spread on this one. And then it flags it. It's got high equity. It's got a great neighborhood. It's in a country club area. Serious candidate for pre-foreclosure strategy, which will give you our auction underwriting. And all this comes to you on the documents once you onboard. So like I said, the first thing is you onboard. It probably takes you, like I said, 30 minutes to an hour. The buy box is you put in your markets, you get your toolboxes, which is basically all the tools. And then what you also do after the toolboxes is you can set up your cockpit and your own CRM and your vault. I have another a PDF that goes through that. So you actually have your own CRM. It stores it. I recommend people kind of Dropbox to it, the free version, so you can save everything, because you want to save everything to PDF and Word, which it'll do, and then save it to that Dropbox so you keep all your. It makes it so simple. So you get all this stuff, like this one on Country Club Way. It's a high equity, strong neighborhood. It's a foreclosure property, a really good pre-foreclosure strategy, and it's going to give you that strategy. It's going to tell you how to do it. You're going to see that on the PDFs I sent you. So it's phenomenal. So it gives you, that's what I said. I was able to get these 2 right off this. This is the worst one. This is a no-go. It's a major red flag. Don't do Fundy Way. But example 2, it's going to tell you this. It's going to break down 8 or 9 of them. And then you can ask it, what in your opinion, because you're setting your buy box, right? So you're telling it what you're looking for. If you're somebody looking to do seller carry or subject to, you can tell it that's your strategy. It'll come back and pick out the ones that meet your strategy. It is really good. So like I said, you want to spend time on your buy box, good 15, 30 minutes extra on your buy box, and you want to refine it. The way you want to look at it is like having 2 funnels for like your, when you fill your oil in your car, or if in a kitchen, maybe for cooking or something, you take 2 funnels, turn one upside down, so the big end's down, and then the other one's, the big end is up, put them together, like you'd almost like put tape around or something, pour all the information into the top. So you're putting a little bit of information, only start out with like 3 to 5 zip codes in your markets. Get some good, and it'll tell you, you can ask it to do a market survey if you're working in St. Louis. or you're working in San Francisco, or you're working in Seattle, you can get it'll help you find the zip codes and stuff. Put in a few, then it's like almost having like a beaker, having the two large ends of the funnels to, put a lot more information, feed it more information. That's how you're training it. This happens between the first week and up to about 30 days. Like if somebody onboards today, probably by about New Year's, now you're looking at about 4 weeks. Obviously, I say a little longer now because the holidays, everybody gets busy. It takes about 30 days really for this to come to fruition. It can come quicker if somebody's on there as much as like I am or some other people, but it really will happen in about 30 days. All that information you put, comes out and it gets refined, and you got an exact, accurate buy box. You got everything that's coming to you exactly what you're looking for. You're not going to get a bad deal. You may not want to do those deals that day, but you're not going to get a deal that you wouldn't want to do if you're looking to do one, put it that way. So this is a great deal. Now we get into these markets. We're going to talk now more about the markets. Columbus, Franklin County, Ohio, high volume chaos market. So there's a clean market in Colorado. Now you go to pure volume. So here's the problem: is the lack of data. It's too much. So there are 6,600 plus pre-foreclosure distress type signals right now. So it's hard to point those. Now it would refine because I don't have a specific buy box like all of you do, because I would have to, so I have a general, just basically what I'm doing is trying to prime the market, trying to put all this together behind the scenes so I can get it to you guys. Most of the time I get it to PDFs. Keep in mind, so I know Doris, you've heard this probably before, and I know Tanya, you were on last week. So when you guys are seeing, I can't see what you guys are doing. You can't see what I'm doing. Doris, you can't, and Tanya, you can't see what each other's doing. But the beauty of it, nobody can train outside of RCIC. If they don't have this prompt assistant, they don't have any access at all. But what happens is in the behind the scenes, the AI actually is for our prompt assistant, everybody's contributing. It's making it better, more accurate, more intelligent. It's adding more data. So if we have 100 people, 200 people, 300 people, the more data, the better. So like I said, right now, hundreds of sheriff sales and judicial cases. There's a big stack of code enforcement and nuisance issues on top of that. Somebody estimated that it's almost 16,000 properties in Franklin County, Ohio, around Columbus. So if you just grab lists, you're just getting noise. Whereas here, the AI and your buy box and all your, you look at the markets, if you're working in Columbus or in Ohio, it's going to refine those 6,000. It might give you 100 that's close to what you're actually looking for. So it's awesome that way. It can break down that many things. Don't pull up 6,000. That's too much noise. Your buy box and your AI, when you do the searches, is going to give you 100 of them, or how many that actually come close or meet exactly. You obviously want to have them meet your exact buy box. So the AHJ stack in Columbus looks like you got code enforcement, nuisance, vacant violations. It pulls all that. It pulls all your foreclosure filings, judgments, orders of sale. It's going to get all the sheriff's auctions, real estate sale calendar. It gives you the sheriff's list. They all have, it's all public records. You don't, in some cases you have to sign up. You don't have to pay, but you have to go and put your, name, contact, email, and then you can sign up if you want it emailed to you every day. You still want to obviously have it go through RCIC, but if that option is still do that, because then you go right to the county, and it just gives you you download it like anything else, and you download it, then you can come back and, just like I did, you can use this tab down here just to show you guys the tab, add photos and files. You can add PDFs, Words, Excels, you can add pictures, you can add any kind of documents. It runs you through if you got questions on what kind of document. Company knowledge is something that you won't see if you have the $20 a month account. You'll see that if you have the account like Jesse and I do, basically because we put our company information, put a lot of it in there, so it helps remind it. Deep research, if you ever use deep research, you'll be there for a while, and it doesn't let you do anything while it's doing it. But what you're going to see on the screen is it's just going to flash. It's going to flash a lot fast as it goes. It actually shows you on the screen where it's searching. So like if you look at like today when I looked at Springfield for you, because I actually did something for Springfield, Tanya, for you. Yeah, it actually flashed through about 80 different things, and some of them said like Missouri and St. Louis and looked through all the different, you could tell it was flashing right about where it says under my chat GPT 5.1 over here. It literally will flash and it'll show me every place it's sourcing information, and you can get that list. So all of a sudden now where it's searching, which is awesome. And then you got agent mode. So if you use agent mode, you can put an agent in there. And I've got an agent mode pack. Anybody that asks me for anything, I got it already. I can send it to you on Messenger. It talks about how to deploy an agent. So an agent is, go out and search the following with the following AHJs. So you can actually set your agents to go out there, and you get 40 of them a month. So you can deploy 40 different tasks. So here is the agent mode. Describe a task. So right now I could actually go and describe a task, and I can have it go out there and exercise that task. So when I'm generating those 10,000 leads I was posting about last week, that was an agent. They were going out there. It was basically the agent was hitting all those zip codes and counties and stuff for me. It was documenting. And like I said, I've got it set to 6,513 zip codes and 50 markets. So that's why I was able to get 10,000 plus market signals. A market signal is like what is telling you that there's a pre-foreclosure or foreclosure vacancy. That's kind of what it's telling you out there. So it's kind of cool. Then you can create images. You can also just create images in the normal box. And down here you can put canvas. They call this a canvas. So basically, it just kind of gives you a fresh canvas for typing. And then you got study and learn if you just want to study, if you want to, and then you got web search. It's pretty cool. You're probably never ever going to see anything that doesn't have it. You just take off agent mode like that. Now it's back. So you go in agent mode and you can deploy all your agents. Then you do, after that, you got this, you go out there, you got your AHJ, and I give you that, give you that PDF, and it takes you about 10-15 minutes, and all of a sudden you got the AHJs going for you, and you're getting deals. Like I said, the proptechs, the wholesalers, the list sellers aren't seeing these, and you can go in and get a 3 or 4 month head start in some places. And like I said, it gives you the strategy. I also put in some influencers, 25 people, and I'll put more in eventually. And I have people, throughout. Some are real estate investors, and some are important people like Gary Nesner and Chris Voss with the FBI negotiators. Those guys had to convince criminals and people to give themselves up. And then I got like JP Morgan, who's better at financial, even though, when you've been dead 120 years and your bank's still running, that's a good sign. Things like that. So there's a lot of Grant Cardone. I know people have different opinions on him, but I put in 25 influencers so you can actually get their strategies. What would Patty Main do? Most people haven't heard about Patty Main. He was a World War II as a British special operations guy, and he's lieutenant colonel, and he worked with David Sterling. They were the founders of the British SAS. And in 1975, Delta Force was actually created and modeled after SAS. But Patty Main they were so brutal to the Germans that the Field Marshal Montgomery let them pretty much. They got his personal permission to be drunk and insubordinate as long as they kept their mission up. There was like 100 of them, and they were out there completely stranded. So Patty Main was a very aggressive, special operator. He personally blew up 300 German aircraft on the ground, like putting little bombs on them and stuff, little IEDs. And so I put these influencers in there so you guys could get these different strategies. It's pretty cool that way. I put like Danica Patrick and Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. How would Tom Brady do this? What would he do? So it goes into their books and their publications and their writings about them and their history. And so we put a lot of influencers in there. So this is pulls of things you can't do manually at scale. You can't scale this. It deduplicates and normalizes all those signals. So when you get like 100 of them, you make sure if you're pulling from 3 or 4 sources, you're not gonna have duplicates. It's gonna dedupe it. I might see 10,000. I might actually have like 8,100 because it's duplicates. Sometimes the county clerk and the sheriff may have the same list because the county clerk obviously deals with at least in my county, the county clerk deals with all the real estate stuff. the filings and all that stuff when you go do title and all that. Then there's a tax assessor and then the sheriff. But in my county, the sheriff doesn't do the auction; the public trustee does. So you may have two agencies in the same county that do the same, have the same list. So you're not going to get duplicates. So here we've reduced 6,000 properties down to the top 1 or 2% based on equity, timeline, whether it's been continued multiple times. They call it zombie cases, overlap with code and nuisance flags, but also your buy box will help break it down. So if you had 6,000 out of that, imagine if you could break it down into the 10 that actually meet your exact needs. And you just went through that list that nobody else has because nobody else knows how to go get 6,000 at one time. You know, all these so you're basically circumventing every lead generation company, proptech, vendor, wholesaler. So Columbus is separate. PropTech sees the last few sale events. RCIC sees all the filings, continuances, and code hits, hands you the ones worth thinking about. So I did put a heat map up. I think I sent. I did generate a heat map. You can actually do that if you're working in a specific area. Here you go, Springfield. I made sure I put this in there for Tanya for you. So on Springfield, it's a mid volume. It's nuisance-heavy market. So let's go to a completely different animal, Springfield, Missouri. So you don't have the Columbus level of foreclosure volume, but you have something just as powerful. You have nuisance and code signals. So right now, 400 to 600 foreclosure-related cases are floating around in the system there, but almost 18,000 nuisance code enforcement cases over the last. And the good thing is you can go in there and you can pull old lists and you can compare them. So you can train your AI by downloading those lists and entering them in here and asking them to review it. And then when you tie that up to your buy box, it just makes it that much more intelligent. This is something that everybody's asking at the time. 30 minutes, maybe an hour tops if you spend time on your buy box to onboard, maybe another 30 minutes to do your CRM, your cockpit, your vault, and then maybe another 30 minutes to set up you're talking about 2 to 3 hours. You might spend a total of 4 to 5 hours in that 30 days getting this all primed up because you're basically training your AI, you're training it to actually do everything you want it to do. It becomes you, then it starts thinking like you, then it starts thinking faster than you, and then it's at scale. And look out in some areas you might just be like, holy crap, how can I do that? It gives you quality over quantity. AHJ stacks, so you got nuisance and housing code, the dangerous building program, chronic nuisance tracking. It's got the public, then you got Greene County, you got the recorder and the deeds and the liens. So it can access all the deeds and liens, everything that no matter what they have, you can access it. A collector, the tax sale, assessor, you got the state of Missouri, fast non-judicial power of sale. So it goes through all that. It helps, it tells you what areas are non-judicial versus judicial. It walks you through the process. So it finds out where nuisance and ownership and debt is. And then you spot neglected but savable properties in stabilized neighborhoods, and it'll rank them. And so Springfield, even if foreclosure volume is moderate, code data is rich, RCIC can still build a lethal opportunity map. And I downloaded this earlier. So obviously I looked at Arapahoe County, I looked at Columbus and Springfield. Totally different. So if you can plug in the AHJ stack for your city, county, state, federal, it'll pull the signals, enrich them, rank them, and turn them into actual plays, not just another spreadsheet full of noise. So you're good at that. So I put in the notice of let's see if it should actually, there you go. So now it's reading that document. That's what that little light that'll think, that'll stop thinking. Now it's reading the documents. You can push answer now. It'll get a faster answer. I haven't tried it yet at all. There's some things I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this yet. So it's going to reach that document. And that's an NED from Arapahoe County, Colorado, just so you guys know. And then it doesn't really let you do anything while it's thinking. If for some reason it just stalls, like I was telling you earlier, if you're using a chat or a project, and it starts just doing this little, like, it almost things like a buffering thing. You can use reset or refresh up here, or in some cases, I try not to do it, even though I did it tonight already. You can just click out of it, close it, and reopen it. Like I said, you see at the bottom of my bar, I can just reopen it. I try not to do that on Zoom nights because sometimes I lose you guys. You don't see me for like a minute or 2 minutes, and people think it's over. So I tried, like I said, try to avoid it. The other thing is I tell people you'll get these little. I might actually end up having to do it just to see if I can. Let me try refresh first.
So will it ultimately import addresses into the CRM?
Yeah, you can have it build that. There's a couple ways to do it. You're with the CRM. The best things, there's two things to do. You can do a Google form, and it'll actually tell you how to do it, and it'll actually help you build it in like a couple of minutes. I've built a few of them. If you use Dropbox, you can connect Dropbox to it until you have Dropbox, and you would like to start putting everything into Dropbox, and it'll help you actually even name what the folders are and stuff. I've got over 2,000 files in like 300 folders. So right now, let's see, so it's just thinking right now, just because I put that document in there. Okay, here you go. See, now it's back. So after it thought for a second. So here's that NED I just put in. And so you guys see, here's the PDF right there. There's the link. So you can click on that and it'll actually pull up the PDF. So when you get these little things, sometimes it'll say, it could say that's Arapahoe County, Colorado. You click on it, it goes right to that list. But this is the PDF that Arapahoe County on the NED has that I downloaded. I'll show it to you in a second. But this is exactly what it is. So this is Arapahoe County. This one report covers filings from November 5th through the 11th, and it's already a full buffet of one signal. So you got small seconds, you got some HELOCs. It tells you it's got like this one in East Alaska, another one in Ensenada. Then it gets you into the FHA defaults, and it just gives you the list. So you can go through Jewel, this one on Girton, Nepal, Mobile Way, East Evans Avenue, and it actually gives you the PDF again. Then it'll actually give you the conventional, it gives you the CHFA, for you guys know, is the Corona Housing. I forget exactly what, it's like a state housing agency. And then they got commercial and private lender stuff. 66 the 90 South Sheridan Boulevard in Camp Pickle Land, and then 7040 South Kenton. So it actually give you these addresses. So it gives you a lot of information, because you can even just go and put these addresses directly in the prompt box and pull them up, and it'll show you the Zillow, the realtor, and all that stuff. So you can go get pictures. You can go get the description of, you can go see the last sales, and you get them all in one place. So rather than having to go to Google and put an address in, and you pull up, you got to go to 7 or 8 different listing. You can ask it to list all of them at one time. So you can get the Zillow, you get the Redfin, you get the realtor, but then you get then you get all the information straight from the county. Because 90% of these are like in counties. There's a few that are like, I don't know, counties, boroughs, and parishes are the same things, but there's only a few of them that are outside of like a county, less than percent. So it doesn't, it pulls these filings. And when you go in and you set up, like if it's Arapahoe County or any of these counties, like in Columbus and stuff, like I said, you can sign up for their direct email. So when a filing's made, as soon as it's in the system, it becomes a public record. You can get those in your inbox. Some places you can sign up for text messages, but you won't actually get a email. You get it daily that basically just tells you we got listings, or on weekends you may not have fresh listings because usually on Thursday and Friday won't populate with the county's website. Most of the counties are, 90% of them probably aren't sophisticated. The ones that are, get them up right away. As soon as they're filed, they become a record. Otherwise, if somebody has to put them in there, but they're a public record, you got to give them a couple of days. Like I said, that one in Lakewood, Colorado was filed on the 11th. of September, and I got on the 18th. So I still got 4 months I still have 4 months, so it's plenty of time. You know, if you get them within a week of the filing, it's still good. But obviously, some counties are not as sophisticated as others. And it gives you everything. And it does more than single family. It can do you can ask it to look for mobile homes, you know, RV parks, land, commercial, multifamily, storage, assisted living, you know, so you can go anywhere. Willie Ingram is using this to run his transaction coordination business and his brokering. And he's like, he put 50 deals. So he was able to get like a list like this in a CSV, get all the addresses and get all the information from the AHJs into a CSV, enter them into his overnight deal engine. He put 50 in. The next morning, they were all analyzed. And they went through you know, he obviously set up the buy box, all his requirements and what he was looking for. But it went through those 50 and it basically analyzed, broke them down. And then it can generate the offers. It can help you blast the offers. It cannot send them, but it'll save them PDF and Word. So it'll write up all your correspondence and you can save it. And then you can go to blast out the offers and then it'll do lender match. Lender match is with Capital Passport, and it's also part of the step 8, the CRM and all that. Capital Passport has over 5,000 lenders, hedge funds, family offices, and all that, these databases. And I do give them to everybody manually, so you have them, but they work a lot better as CSV, and most people can't read CSVs. So, like I said, we got 5,000 lenders, family offices, hedge fund funding sources. It'll actually match up. So if you're in Texas and you're flipping, you can go, what 10 lenders can do this deal right now? It'll pop up all the information, help you. It won't contact them for you, but it'll help you get, you know, basically get in touch with those lenders. And then also it can do feedback. It'll tell you, it'll go through everything your deal and tell you what, you know, what you need to fix, what you need to tighten up, kind of like an after action review. And there's also then there's a follow-up one for following up with people. This is unlimited. You can do whatever you want to do. But what I do is, like I said, we got the prompt assistant. Everybody is authorized. Take whatever is in the system that I've built and everything and build your own. You can, within about 90 days, you should be able to build your GPT. You go up here and just set up your own GPT. And you set up your own and you build it the way you want to do. Then it's exactly like you want to do. And it doesn't cost, you know, anything to do a GPT. And then you have your own. You can make it public if it's really good, or you can just keep it yourself, or you can share it with the group. It's kind of cool. So it'll tag everything. It gives you the ranked list. Also, when you get to lender to the Capital Passport, it also ranks. It gives you a score between 0 and 100. Obviously, 70 to 100 at the good deals. With the lenders, it ranks that deal. So if you get something to 90%, it'll actually, you should feel that deal is going to get funded and approved and closed. And so you can get a ranked list. You get all the negative equity, the loan mod opportunities. You know, you may just want to reach out to people because who knows, maybe they'll buy, maybe you can help them, you know, they save their credit or whatever, and they can buy your flip or your next flip or something. You develop a good relationship with those people. Weird commercial private note outliers, and also stuff we ignore for now. You can tell it to do whatever you want to do. It'll do it. So this 12-page counter report becomes in minutes a short list of 5 to 10 serious conversations. And so it's pretty sweet. Let me try to see if I can pull up what it'll look like.
Hey Nate, I have a question regarding the ownership. Will it say, for example, if the property, you know, if it's currently owner occupied, or if it's maybe like in a trust, if it's, you know, like family, maybe if they're out of state or out of, you know, if they're in the same city or maybe out of state, will it identify that also? Or
yeah, it'll give you that. There's some finagling, but it'll give you that. I mean, because obviously with rentals and stuff, you can ask it to program that if you're looking for multifamilies or apartments or rentals. You can do that pretty good.
Jumping off,
yeah.
I have
No, sorry. Go ahead.
You had something that you had sent out about the rules for RCIC, and if I remember right, one of them said something like, "Don't skip trace."
I meant it because so it was more. I think it generated it. I meant like you don't have to skip trace because you can actually get all this information from the AHJs. Because it gives you the NEDs. All that information is going to be on the NEDs and all the reports. It's on the filings. And no matter what it is, if it's a probate case, you get the information. So you don't, so what it means is don't go in and use a skip tracing vendor. You know, don't go, it really means just don't go pay for, because you don't have to. You now can get more information than you're going to get more information, Tanya, than any of the wholesalers or anybody are ever going to give you. You don't get a lot of that information till the closing, till till the title company's done, with the closing. So you get more information than you ever wanted to know, than you probably need to know, and it packages into, you can do rehab estimation. There's a whole process. And I've got everything is in the files tab in the associates compound group, which is a Facebook group, private. And I've got the separate RCIC group, RCIC, for everybody that's using it now, because the Facebook group for associates can be really convoluted. There's about 200. I think I've been downloading stuff in there for like 5 years. So to make it more specific, we have the second RCIC group, which just is RCIC specific, and it has all the PDFs. There's I think the only complaint I've gotten was really telling me it was that it was, what was the term, addictive. Like he was spending a lot more time on it than he probably should have, going to other areas. He was getting done what he needed to do. But you can tell, you can go how many rabbit holes you can go down. So let me ask it real quick. Also need to make it possible to determine if a property is being rented or leased. So I'm thinking, and it tells you, like I said, a couple times I think I showed you. Like I said, the big thing is just use new project, or use new chat. It doesn't matter what you use. I'm using chats just because I've been used to it. Just however you want to do it. Projects, you can say projects, all kinds of stuff. It does visuals. You guys have seen me do visuals. I mean, I can show you the library that I have. It's pretty cool. Let's let it, like I said, it's just right now it's just a little bit slow tonight because I've overused that. Like I probably won't use this except for an archive on this particular chat. From that, after that, I'll open a new chat tomorrow, which will right away, it's right away, the answer is, like I said, it's just, it has to go through all the information again. So there's a few little glitches. I will always make sure I tell you what the glitches are because I've experienced them first. There hasn't been any issues. If you ever need support from OpenAI, it can actually tell you how to do it right from here. But you can also go to support@openai.com. They get back to you in like less than a minute, although I'm pretty sure they're using AI too. But you can ask it to have human contact, and they will. It usually takes about 24 hours, but I've actually had to get human contact first. When I upgraded from the individual plan to the business plan, when I didn't get populated with about 2 months worth of chats for about 2 days. So keep that in mind. If you upgrade from personal, it literally until it repopulates the account, like everything transfers over. I got all the chats back, but it took about 2 days. Here's my answer. So it's getting yep, and it's going to answer that. So keep in mind, like I said, that's sometimes the only frustrating part is if you use the chat and it's a little bit slow. It's giving you the answer. Like I said, I just don't do it on as much as possible. Like you just click out of it and then restart it with I use my icon in my bar just so I can do that. It gives you the answer. It's just, like I said, it's just a little bit slow because it has to go through all the information again. You guys can tell all these different chats and all these discussions I've had. Here's my support. Here's when I was actually getting my escalation to my human. So it took him 48 hours. The AI wasn't going to do it. And then I think I got a call. I think I was on a Saturday, and by Monday I had all my chats restored. So, and OpenAI is doing about it's a $500 billion investment between them, SoftBank, and a couple of sovereign wealth funds into Stargate. So they're going to have all these data centers built over the next 5 years. So it's going to be awesome. And as long as you have GPT through OpenAI, you're good. You own all your information. Nobody can see it. I could go away tomorrow and you guys are good. You can build your own. You get all the resources. So it's like there's no rental. You're not renting it. It's not a subscription. You own it. And then anything that I build, it happens in the, because I go into developer mode. You'll see this developer mode, this orange. When I'm in developer mode, I'm building for everybody, for this entire organization. When I go out of developer mode, then I'm doing usually other things that aren't related to the business. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
Proceed.
Sorry.
How do you foresee this happening once everybody has access to this? I mean, I know just us now, but
because they don't have. There are people obviously doing AI, but the ones that I've seen so far are only doing a couple of things, and I think we're going to be we're light years ahead. I know Doris is on it; she can talk. She can tell you. And I've been put probably about an 8 to 10 year collection of documents and everything, training manuals, things, notes from conferences I've gone to. I've put all that into there, plus all the lenders. Like I don't think anybody's doing it as extensively as we are. I just think everybody in the group. Well, I tell people to maybe in 2 or 3 months after you've done it, you get to know it, build your own GPT, and that's how we become like a spider web. Like it's just like building a spider web. Everything's components. We're just getting bigger, 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 getting thicker. It becomes a wall. I think it's everybody in here. I just don't think. I think people are going to be doing a lot of AI, but like I said, I don't think they tend to be focused in specific areas, like not as in, I don't know what the right word is, but not as complex to outsiders as it is. It's not complex inside because it's actually fairly easy to learn. But it's in a nutshell. I just think we're that much further ahead because I had a lot. Like I said, I had a lot of advantages. Plus, we have like almost like 200 people in the group, about 191, including myself and Jesse and my other partner Paul, 188. And a lot of people are giving me feedback. Not everybody's into RCIC yet. Some people are not. They're coming on board. Like Bill just downloaded he just basically activated his last Saturday. What Jamie, you're just about to do yours now. So yeah. So some people have just for whatever reason. I think some people weren't sure all of the AI because there's also a lot of information out there. People are like telling people, "Oh, the AI is not good yet." I'm going to go ahead and try to reopen this. Give me 1 second.
Are you saying that yours is good because you've loaded all those documents in there?
I think it gives us an advantage right now.
Okay.
Because I put so much stuff in there. I mean, if you go to the Facebook group, people are like, "Holy crap, you've been back 5 years and seen stuff I've put in there." I can show you the stuff I've built that I've put in there. But I think honestly, where we're going, where we're at, we're light years ahead of everybody. I mean, I think it's just that much. I just because I've gone to a few other webinars and it's like they're focused. Somebody's just doing lead generation or somebody like Deal Machine or these props. They're trying to do some AI stuff. People are talking about AI. I'm not sure if they're using OpenAI, what they're using because there's other ones out there. I went to Grok on X and I actually told them what I wanted to do. I was already doing it, so I already knew what I was doing here. So I was able to build an outline. They told me I needed $50,000 and to hire 3 or 4 people. And I'm like, I just built this myself and it was already operational. It's kind of interesting that way. But I'm trying to get to, give me 1 second. I'm going to exit full screen for just about half a second so I can restart the. Cool. I'm just playing around trying to get this thing working the right way. It's just, to me, my whole view is I spend most of my day on it without having to move around to Zoom and stuff. So I'm trying to get that back to it. So you got any other questions about that? Because I like I said, I just think it's just I've been playing with it for a while.
So I have another question. I know initially I'll start, you said with like 3 zip codes.
You can do more than that. I just tell people really if you start out with 3 to 5. Generally, how many do you got in your area?
Well, my question was going to be, could I have like regional funnels? Like
Oh yeah,
obviously,
yeah. Yeah, I mean you can do that.
okay.
I just recommended that, but I'm also since I said that I've looked at markets like giving you the whole Springfield, but you tell me what you need for regional because I'll send you the onboarding kit like right away as soon as you're in on board. Then I will you can onboard, and then basically to do this with the AHJs, I'll try to even give you a couple. The prompt I just created the prompt system, a prompt, and it's basically plug and play meaning you just take the big master plan that basically got Columbus and does all these areas. You just plug and play and put the counties and zip codes in there, so you can do it. Pretty much do it yourself. But I mean, like for everybody that needs it, if they got a question, if they want me to do it, I'll do it. I'll actually, give you that. Usually, I'll give you the onboarding one, and then I'll give you that one, and then you get the CRM one, which you need as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, you can do it regionally. I mean, that was my recommendation to everybody just to start out because some people aren't doing it. We have people like Willie that are doing nationally, and for that, like with his brokering and all that stuff, he ramped it up slowly because like you could do garbage in and garbage out that way. So that we have a lady in Michigan, and so she pulled up almost like you saw this one with Columbus 6,000. She tried to put 9,000 properties into overnight deal engine. The system won't let her do it. She only has 40 agents. You have to put them in by the agents that I showed you. She would need to go to enterprise plan with OpenAI, and enterprise is really expensive in order to do that many. We only put in 50, I had no problem. You could probably go up to 100. Don't put in 9,000 or nine.
Yeah.
I think it was 988. I just said the 9,000 relating it to the number in Columbus. So this is the prompt assistant after you put in the link in step 2. It goes through. This is the process. This is what Bill was activating on Saturday when I was on the phone with him. It's got my name on it. Once you have this, you're good. That's step 2. And it walks you through how do you embed your buy box, activate it. Here's your start button, and what can I unlock? It's pretty cool. Then I've got my training one. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I think we're light years ahead of everyone. Let me real quick ask it a couple of questions. How become predictive. So it goes from being yeah, it goes, here's some other stuff that I just put in. So you pulled up all that stuff. It just takes a minute. So here you go. I just answered that question I had earlier. So, and I'll try to answer more of your question, Tanya, while I'm going. So this is, you can wire this in workflow. Say every property gets a tenancy flag, owner likely rental, confirm rental unknown. So we can put you can put, like I said, it's unlimited. You can almost do this on your own. Like if somebody's out there looking to buy ice cream shops, well, I'm probably not going to put that in the RCIC for everybody, but you can. You can create whatever you want out of it. It'll do it. So you just keep building it your own. That's why I said you own it. It's your own. What I was going to ask it is about predictive and how, the data, all the data is encrypted by OpenAI. And so nobody can actually see anything you put in. It's cool, but this talks about it. Assessor in the tax rule. So you got mailing address. You can put all these flags in there. You can build your own flags in there. So it'll tell them if there's a mailing address versus a property address. You can put all these determinations. It's already talking about like if it is a PO box, there's homestead, primary residences. You got rentals, landlord registries. It can go and look through all the landlord registries. It can find properties that may be on Airbnb and VRBO, or in some state, like in Denver, you have to get a license to do rentals now. You have to have a license with the city. And so if you're doing something in a jurisdiction like that, that is going to be a public list, and you're going to be able to get that. So you'd be able to actually flag that. So if you're doing Columbus, Ohio, and you're looking to buy rental properties that already maybe have tenants in them, I don't know if Columbus can have it checked. I know Denver does. So, but you can go and ask it for that list, and you can confirm those addresses. So really, a lot of this is just gets 90% of your searches and your workflow done for you. It makes it so much easier. Code and compliant data, you can look at that. You get in the courts and all that. You get in the court and docket for evictions, because all our own properties, how many have evictions? So that'll start showing up in eviction in what they call the Fed filings. You don't confuse Fed and Ned. But yeah, the Fed and eviction deals with all the tenants. That's another thing. So like I said, Jamie, you can set that up so you can start getting all the eviction filings and stuff if you wanted to, look for that as a marker. And then you got ownership patterns, MLS online history, and then you can set up the scoring. You can implement this, and I can do this. I can actually put this in tomorrow and put in this tenancy stuff and put in this, so it can probably start searching to make it, so people can sign on if you're looking for, history. And so then you got your master prompts. So like, here's your prompts. So it was your property enrichment. So you got all your different prompts and stuff, and market-wide runs. And so it goes through all this. Generate a PDF to send to the viewers after. So I'll have this PDF. I'll send that over to you, Jamie, and Tanya, if you want to as well.
Okay.
Excellent, for the tenancy stuff. And I'll put that in. Like I said, the other questions, like I said, it goes for predictive, for reactive. 99% of real estate investing is reactive, and all of a sudden this will predict it within about, like I said, within 30 days. Roughly, it's happened faster for some people because they're on it more, but within 30 days, it starts thinking like you, thinking faster than you, and starts like, you can set those agents in play. You just deploy those agents. Like I said, you got 40 of them a month. And you can send those out, and they basically are just scraping. They're looking all over the internet. They're getting work done for you. I set one to put all the 6,513 zip codes together. So that's the PDF. It'll ask you questions. Sometimes here's one of the things where I talk about rabbit holes. So sometimes it'll ask you, do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want that? So kind of just, understand that pops up. It's trying to help you. If you want a viewer facing email template, if you for SMS, things like that. About going to regional markets compared to local. And then, like I said, I've got a whole prompt list. I also got Fast Track AI, which is on Patreon, and I'll give you guys. Everyone gets the Patreon link. You get it's a link it lasts about a year, because it doesn't give me the annual yet, so I have to renew them. But it gives you access to the RCIC as well as on Patreon. But it also has the resources to Fast Track AI, which is a thing I built with 500 prompts. It's not all real estate, it'll help everybody understand prompts. There's 500 of them already pre-generated. There's like, I think there's 10, 50 prompt sections. And then also Homebase, which is like Craigslist and StubHub and Carfax. I used my own Homebase. I started building it, and I'm going to tweak it over Thanksgiving weekend when I'm at my parents' house for 3 or 4 days. And my dad's watching History Channel, and I'm bored, so I will actually get it all. I'll get it all Homebase wired up, and you guys have access to that too. I'll give you the link. I'll be doing Homebase for anybody else for $10 a month, which is a pretty good price. I used it for a version of Carfax when I had to upgrade my car in October. I've used it to get concert tickets. It can do everything. I was thinking. I'll let it think here while I'm finishing up. But no, you can go to regional. I mean, pretty quick. You can, it's what I would just do is put in, get your first primary markets when you onboard. So, Tony, when you're onboarding in like step 5, it'll ask you for markets after buy box. That's really when you start out with your first 3 or 4, because and then after that, you can just go in and put in the whole country if you want. But, you just kind of want to, put for at least 3 to 5 zip codes just in your onboarding. And then, because I'm saying it's probably going to be like 3 or 4 sessions. And they could be like 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30, I think onboarding will take no more than an hour for anybody. And I'm available, like I said, the best time is like between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. my time. I'm on my computer. I'm generally on in the afternoon and evening as well sometimes, but I gave you that schedule. Like on Tuesday night or like last night, I wasn't available. And on Friday night, I tried it. Nobody's really does anything on Friday nights. But
Right.
no, I think you can regional. That's what I'm asking right now. I'll go through, it's kind of interesting though. I really think, like I said, OpenAI is probably the leader right now in AI. And it's supposed to have, when it goes public next year, it's supposed to have $1 trillion valuation. I believe they're trying to raise it like $100 billion in one day off of their stock, so to fund everything they're doing. And then it's about a $500 billion investment from like them and some of their partners in the data centers. And Stargate's going to be awesome. So I think they're leaders. They're even looking at going to like nuclear power for some of these data centers, so they don't have to tap into the grid. They can just sell energy back to the grid.
That makes sense.
Because I mean, nuclear power, people think about Chernobyl and 3 Mile, but those are the only 2 accidents ever known. And they were like pretty much almost man-made. So I'm pretty happy, I think that's going to be great. So like I joke and, everybody laughs. Because, you got to understand our sense of humor and our Doris is on. She can tell you about some conversation. There's times we do the hour Zoom and then we turn it off and then we end up talking for another hour about just anything. And I always joke. I said I could get hit by a bus tomorrow and everybody's good if they have RCIC. Once you have the Bitcoin link, you're good. You own it. As long as you have your subscription to GPT as OpenAI, you're good. You own everything. There's no subscription. I honestly think once we get a lot, I think people will start coming around to AI. I think a lot of it, because the people that I've talked to that are hesitant have been told that it's not accurate, and it's accurate. You got to put your buy box in. It's gonna be inaccurate if people just put in like generic stuff. Like I don't get it as detailed and finely tuned as you will when I get these properties, because I'm not putting in a very specific buy box. I'm looking at all asset classes, strategies, and markets, trying to build it. I'm trying to prime it. So it means when you sign on for Springfield or somebody does for Sacramento or wherever, it's already kind of churning in those areas. It's already learning and training on what those different AHJs are, because I can tell you, you go outside of Arapahoe, Douglas, Denver, Jefferson County, and Colorado, you can get into sticks. And some of those counties on the eastern plains by Kansas, Nebraska, and even, different places outside of the metro Denver area are probably not as sophisticated as the local. It just makes sense that, a lot of them are still like Mayberry. See, it's thinking a little bit on this one.
And send me the sign up link.
Yeah, I'll send that to you right after we're done.
Okay.
And then I'll send you the onboarding packet. And then what I'll do is I'll do the other 4 PDFs. I'll do like the 2 the next day and 2 the next day, because you won't need them all at one time.
Okay.
And that way you can kind of make a decision on how fast you want to get everything ramped up. Like I said,
Okay.
First spend about an hour. Do the first 10 steps, get the bit link in there, get it activated. If there's any tweaks, sometimes We haven't really had one. It was Willie was one of the first people who came on, and it took us about 3 or 4 times to troubleshoot it. The best time for me to troubleshoot is 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. my time. But you got that schedule already sent to you. Jamie, I'll send you that schedule as well. It's like
Okay.
a visual. It has my 7-day schedule. And I didn't put Thursday on there for a reason because everybody was so used to Thursday being Zoom night. So don't forget that every Thursday is our regular Zoom night. And then I get people all the time, like if you're ever not able to make one, then just let me know what you need, and I can answer it for you. Want to go?
Okay.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions at this point. So first question, so I onboard, I sign up and everything. So say I use like a laptop. Can I also like log in on my iPhone with it as
Yeah,
well?
you log in anywhere you do it with OpenAI.
So it's like,
That was me.
it's
And
like
you
a
can
server, I go on the
so when you
server.
onboard, yeah, when you onboard, you get that prompt assistant, right? But when you go on OpenAI, you can use your phone. I mean, I have it on my phone. I don't use it on my phone because of it's to me it's
Sure.
just yeah.
Yeah.
It's however you use it, because some people do it, you use their phone. I just have it on there, so if I have to go in there and question or something somebody has, I can answer it. I prefer to use my laptop. But no, you can any device. That's OpenAI. It doesn't have
Okay.
anything to do with me. So when
Well,
you go into
all right.
that OpenAI, and you got everything that OpenAI does, you can. It's incredible what people are doing with it, even outside of. I know somebody was talking about stocks, and they're trying to set up a program to do because they can go in there and analyze things. Now, OpenAI has gotten in trouble a few times because people have sued them over copyright because they've trained
Yeah.
it like they put a song in there or something, and
Oh, right.
I made some parody songs because there's some days where you guys see what it's thinking. There's days on there when I'm like, I'm like, oh, come on. So I make a parody song. They're all real estate related. Like I made what was it? The Billy Joel song, Piano Man. It came out to be Investor Man. It was basically about wholesale gurus, and
Oh,
it took the lyrics, but I could totally understand how like an artist could get copyrighted or a book, an author or something.
yeah.
And but I give you guys free license. You can take anything that I have built and make it your own and build your own GPT. You guys own it. So when you guys come on, and Jamie, you've already been in the program, so I'll just send you the onboarding if I haven't already. And Doris, make sure you have it. But yeah, you guys own it outright. There's no subscription, and you guys can do whatever you want. It's pretty unlimited. I mean, I think I'd like if you find some. I just ask people if they find people go on and look for lease triple net leases or whatever. If you find something cool, at least let me know. So if it's something that could benefit everybody.
Okay.
Because not everything, that's because I'm not going to think about it. A lot of
Sure.
stuff like that. There's people hit me up all the time. Can it do this? And I'm like, it probably can do that, but I'm not going to really build it because it's like I got to focus on the core.
Right.
Yeah, somebody's out there buying amusement parks. I'm not going to go ahead and build it. You can build anything you want. You saw me. Some people saw me a couple of weeks ago. I built something right during the session because they had a question, and it turned out we just continued. And so you guys, I don't know, Jimmy, you know me a little bit, but I think I told you the story last week. I wasn't going to do that. I think, and you probably saw me post in the Facebook group in like the spring last winter, maybe a year ago. I was talking about the ecosystem. It was going to be 3 different websites. One was going to have 4 components, 2 components, and another one was going to be for the rehab pricing. I wasn't going to build it till I could, because I was anticipating having to go and buy data from like RS Means and all the contractor sourcing. And that was going to be something I was going to have to make a big financial commitment. Because like I own one of my databases, and I printed it last week. One of my databases is $5,900. That's what I spent getting from the Family Office Club. They're all vetted and verified because most of those hedge funds and family offices are clients of the Family Office Club. I spent $6,000 on that. So I don't want to go out there and spend 6. So I was like, in a couple of years, I'll have enough revenue. I can go and get all the data. Guess what? Just screwing around like for 3 or 4 months, basically trying to get everything together, organized using AI, the paid version, so I could actually hand it to a developer in like Fiverr. Instead, I just built it.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's unlimited. I don't think there's anything this cannot do. And like I said, I mean, the question going back to it one more time is, I don't think anybody's in our anybody out there in real estate is doing as much right now as what this is doing. And because I pay attention now when I see people talking about AI. The other thing I've done is I've actually taken, and I'll just take with my mouse and I'll just mouse over and copy and paste. And I've done that with over 250 because I joke, imagine what my algorithm brings me, imagine what my inbox brings me. I sit there and every wholesaler guru, everybody, I put their whole everything word for word right into it, and I go here, review it, reverse engineering, tell me what it's doing, that what we're not doing that we can do. It's not copying because how many? I mean, you guys have been around. Every guru is probably taking something from another guru, another guru. It's like a chain, all going back to probably Carlton Sheets back in the 90s. Everybody's copy. There's nothing new in real estate. AI is. But I don't think anybody's going to be advanced. And like I said, our group is getting big enough on these Thursday nights. People are doing stuff we can share. That's another thing, not just work on deals, but we can also share what other people are doing that maybe we can add that helps everybody. Because everybody becomes friends. I mean, everybody becomes friends in the group. Everybody like starts working together. And Tanya, we do have, like I said, Michael is in Springfield. Well, he lives in Florida, but he's actually, I forget where he's at, just across the border. I think he's from Illinois. Just the Illinois border of Missouri. So we've got Scott Strickland that is in Springfield, but he's mostly a contractor now. He flips occasionally. He's been around our group for 5 or 6 years. And then Kevin's obviously in St. Louis. In Kansas City. So we do have, like I said, I'll get you in direct communication with all of them because they're just good people to know. And then if you have other markets, you want to do the regional thing. I'll help you even if you want to. It's better if you do it yourself to learn how to do it when you use the master prompt. But I'll go ahead and start putting them up, trying to put, tell me what areas you want, and I'll go ahead and try to feed those and give you because I can do those. You see how fast I can do. I can write something up as a PDF, so I can get you a PDF on anywhere you want to add. Just give me like a don't hit me up like 8 o'clock. I need it by 8:30. But if you give me a heads up, I can use it. So done. But I've had people do that. The worst is when people hit me up that aren't even in the group.
Oh, right.
Closing. You got all these leads. You always talk about you got all these lenders. Can you get me a lead? And I'm like, I can't give you a lead. I said, why would you do that? What you help a brother out? I said, I've got 90 people that have joined my group. And they, and I've kept this together for 5 years, and it would take resources from them. I used to be nice when I had 10, 15, 20 people. They'd be like, hey, I'm trying to do this. Now I'm like,
yeah.
And I'm like, for $3.99, and I'm raising the price to, well, it is $6.99 now, but $3.99 is what I'm giving everybody that's grandfather that I'm talking to. But eventually I'm going to try to increment. Jessica Toth told me I should sell this for like $5,000. I said I got to get a few things worked out, a few glitches that I just, the things I still kind of have to worry about. I have to explain to people, when it slowed us down, like you guys saw it. It's just like I tell people, just don't go like a week in a chat and be in there all the time, because that's going to slow down, because it just basically has all that information. It has to go through all that information. So you go start a new chat. Sometimes start a new chat, it may not recognize. I go in and I'll just copy and paste whatever I was just working on the old tired chat, and I'll copy and paste the new one, then it wakes it up right away. Sometimes if you go a couple of days without logging in, you have to kind of a little bit remind it. It might take a couple minutes. It always comes back to life. It's a machine. It can play chess with you, but it doesn't know chess. It doesn't know what chess is. It doesn't know what time it is. It doesn't know what day it is. It never gets mad at you. You can do this. You can forget you just did the same task 5 times in the last 2 hours, and it treats you like it's the first time. It actually may even have because it's training, it may have that 5th time you put it in there by mistake on your fault. It may actually give you a better training, better response. I've seen it where it's like a day or like everything that I'm doing now with the RCIC, with the AHJs and all this stuff. It was refined since September into October into November. I'm going to say so it kind of even goes back to your question, Tanya, a little bit earlier about, I think honestly with the group and the way that we're going, and I'm working in the behind the scenes, I'm going to get in the feedback from all of you on what is going on. And I can build. This AHJ thing is going to be a stronger 6 months from a year from now than it is today.
Got
it's going to get refined, it's going to get faster, and it's going to get better. Because it's been that way for me since I've been working on it.
And you have the brains to do this.
Well, but I'm saying you guys are actually going to be, you can give me feedback. Hey, this
Like the spider web analogy, like you were saying, kind of
yeah,
we're
it's like building a
all connected. And
yeah, and if you do that, if you do your GPT, that's cool. If you don't, it's up to you. You know, do whatever you want. But it's like I said, if you bring me feedback and say this is working or tweak it, or if you learn something that some jurisdiction's doing different, like I didn't know about surplus or overbids, and I have a document to explain that. So like if you are, I try to put in layman's terms, but it's with if there's a foreclosure, let's say the lender pays 313, or the buyer, whoever buys it at the foreclosure office pays 313, but the lender needed 301 at $12,000, the overbid. Guess what? They that goes in Colorado. Every state is different, but almost every state has a program. They just call it something else, and they may have some different laws. In Colorado, you have up to after 2.5 years, you can be a consultant. You can actually get paid to help people recover that, the homeowner. But it also goes into the state treasurers, has a thing in Colorado where they call it the Great Colorado Payback, and they basically have all money from bank accounts and all people owed money, so the state treasurer keeps it. My dad actually got $900 one day for something he didn't even forget. He forgot that he didn't even have it. This account is $900, and all I had to do is go prove it was him, and the state treasurer sent him a check. Well, surplus and overbid funds go to the same thing. So all of a sudden you could get the $12,000 if you buy the property. And and you're now the flipper, or you own it because you haven't flipped it. If you own it after the time elapse, you can actually go and claim that money.
So I want to say two things about that. There's a guy named Bob Diamond who teaches it. And I have a friend that bought that course, and he was required to file a lawsuit in order to get the community to release that money.
Yeah.
And the judge in that jurisdiction just said, no, I'm not going to hear this or something. He just like denied the.
Yeah, that's, and like I said, I just learned about it 2 weeks ago, so I'm not nuanced in it. I'm trying to tell people because I'll just send everybody to like the county and tell them here's their website. This is what it says about it, their procedures in the state. I'm just telling people because
difficult, or the community makes it difficult for people to reclaim their money.
Yeah, no, I understand that. No, yeah. I mean, my dad got it off of a bank account. I was owed money off for something. I got like $154 or something. It was it was cool that they do that. But on the surplus and overbid, I just learned about it 2 weeks ago while I was on this. I've learned a lot about like different things because I tell people, I've talked to a few like people that have dealt with wholesalers. They don't even know how this. A lot of people don't know what a net is. They've never heard of it, and they've been flipping, or they don't know what it is. It's weird how that happens. It's like what a Fed is. A net is for foreclosure. A Fed is for evictions, the different forms, different procedures. What states are judicial versus non-judicial. Keep in mind, when I started this in 2017 and 18, I took a 40-hour class. I paid $2,500 for it. I was in the classroom for 40. Well, I was actually virtual. The class was in Atlanta. I watched it here from Denver. $2,500, and I got over all the workbooks and stuff. So it's pretty. What I learned, I wouldn't have been a successful as a private money broker when I started if I didn't take that. But I also now. If I was just getting into it, I didn't have the knowledge I have now. I don't think I would succeed as I did. I did 263 deals. My seventh deal was a $7.2 million deal. I made $212,000 commission for the lender on brokering it. But now there's just so much with the mortgage stuff and all that. Like so many people are into that, the Gator stuff, that it's I don't know. I think that some people are getting hurt. I've had a number of people contacting me and stuff that they want money and they don't go and put the direction of pay or get the title company to release the money back to the Gator lender or whoever's loaning EMD, because a lot of title companies don't understand that yet at this point, what what EMD lending is all about. So like I was saying earlier, there's nothing really new in real estate, but yeah, EMD and gap funding is newer. At least some of the terminology out there, the Gator stuff. All right, cool. You guys got any more questions? Do you have a second question, Jamie? I tell you, I said you had two.
Oh, yeah. So I guess like a overall general question regarding the funding. So for example, you come across a deal at all that's looking, it matches what you're looking for, a good return, good value, so to speak. You mentioned, there's like what, 5,000,
Yeah.
You got lenders. So I guess my overall general question is, everything's, they're all unique circumstances. I understand that, and every lender has their own criteria that they'll work with. But for the most part, have you ever come across a thing where maybe like you find a good deal, you present a good deal, but you just can't get the funding for it? In other words, do all these lenders, they require like a certain credit score? Do they look at your debt to income ratio, or is it mostly based on the deal you're bringing to them?
I mean, they're all different. It just depends. I mean, there's even DSCR. Every lender is like different. And some of the lenders waiving that 5,000 are family offices and hedge funds, which will never touch like a single deal like this. But they're in there because we were using them for some bigger projects we were working on before COVID. But to answer your question, what it does with Capital Passport lender matching, it's in that onboarding step. So we have when you do capital matching, it'll go through those lenders, and all the information that it has, and it'll rank them and give you a score. You still got to contact them and fill them out. We do have about a dozen people actually in the group that are lenders or brokers or connectors too, and I try to from time to time introduce them. A lot of people come directly to me instead of like posting in the Facebook group. Like, hey, and I do have those other 4 RCIC groups too. I can invite you to. I started 4 other ones that last summer, and I think 2 got like 1,000 people in them each. They're free, and they're just like people. I put those together so a lot of people can talk about capital and lending and stuff. But I try to be careful on those because how many groups get lost because people come in and they just get the moderators and the people that admin lose control. And I had a group like that. I sold it during COVID because at that point I wasn't, I was like, hey, I don't really want to deal with this right now. I had 4,000 people in it, and this guy paid me like $2,000 for it. I just was like done with it at that point in that group, because sometimes as an admin, you can lose control.
Sure.
You get that many people in it. But no, it does give you got 5,000 lenders now. If you need, like I tell you, post in the Facebook group. And if you're looking for a lender, and I can introduce you to them. I mean, there's like John Otrevek, there's Gabe, Ari Eisenberg. If you ever, I can kind of get Ari. He's putting a company together right now. Some investors, foreign investors. It's their money. They trust him enough. He's going to be like handling their deals for them. So he's got some really good investors. We've got like a dozen actually in the group. We've got Life Changing Lending. They do a lot of stuff. I can hook you up with Casey, and they liked us so much when they joined 2 years ago. The owners actually paid for 4 of their people to join the group. So we can. I mean, it's just people need to use the group. I think the biggest thing with me is I get inundated. Mostly it's all people outside the group that hit me up all the time. Everyone in the group, the Facebook group is a great place, and the Thursday nights are a great place to introduce yourself and, hey, this is what I'm doing. Because then you get even if they're not on the call, I give the video to everybody that's in the group. I post that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and they can see it, and you can introduce yourself. And I'll encourage you to, Tanya, when you get on, I'll give you all the invitations you need for the RCIC group and the Private Money Associates group, which is the one that's been around for 5 years. That one started during COVID because we ever needed a networking thing. It was in August, September of 2020. And after about 2 or 3 months, it was like, man, we just got to reconnect everybody, because everybody had kind of lost, I think, and that's where it all came out of this. And it was taking everything that we were working on I was working on with Jesse and a couple of my partners. We were going to actually we were trying to put a fund together before COVID where it'd be like 100 people, kind of like we have now. And the money is only lent to those 100 people. And we're able to tell the investors that people are able to almost mentor that. And it's a better way to protect their capital, because it's the same people on rinse and repeat. We almost had that pulled off. And we got the notice of basically, hey, we're funding it. Now we just need to do the written. So the actual paperwork, but then COVID happened, and then they but they went into retraction while they were waiting to see what was going to happen with the economy during COVID. The other project we were working on was a 112-story building in downtown Denver. If you guys, I don't know if it's probably still in there, the Facebook, because I did put it in the files tab. Go look through some 4 or 5 files called Blue Sky. It was going to be 112 stories downtown Denver right now. It would have been twice as tall as the tallest building down there now, and it was going to be. It was like 2 of my partners, Todd Profit, who lives in Aspen, and then Phil, who's in Denver. They got stranded in Singapore because of COVID. They literally couldn't fly back to the United States for like 3 weeks. They were there meeting with the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Singapore, which was going to put $400 million in the first phase of building that building. It would have been built by now. And I was going to own about 0.5% of it. I would have had about $100 million in equity in it.
Ooh.
That got canned because of COVID. Now we ended up the property, the actual land was $25 million. They sold it to. We had an option on it, and Kevin, who's one of my partners, Kevin negotiated the option, and Todd put $50,000 on it. If you guys see any ski movie ever from like the 80s and 90s and really until about 15 years ago, where there's like he was actually Todd did the stunt skiing for James Bond. He was James Bond anytime James Bond was skiing.
Wow.
He did all the comedy movies, Hot Dog. He did Out Cold. He did all ski school.
Nice.
He broke his leg in Hot Dog jumping. He was the guy that landed in the tree, and he got hurt. He got hurt on every ski comedy movie. Didn't get a scratch doing James Bond or any of the. He got hurt and broke his leg on Hot Dog. That was the 80s movie. He had to go he went off the cliff during the Chinese downhill, and he landed in a tree and broke his leg. He's a big real estate developer. No, he jokes about it now, but he's retired now. He's almost 70. But he's a big real estate developer in Aspen. He's built some lodges and stuff up there. So he was the front man. And then so it's pretty cool. I mean, it was going to be awesome. We would have been done with the building now. And if you guys see that building in Miami that has it has an elevator that takes the car up. You have a garage in your penthouse, and there's a garage, and it actually has a car elevator, and then and we were going to have a car elevator and everything. So there's going to be 112 stories. There's going to be a restaurant and a club, nightclub, and a pool, an infinity pool at the top of 112 stories, as tall as the World Trade Center.
Wow.
So that got kind of canceled because of COVID. I don't know. It was an interesting. I knew nothing about it. I just put like Phil and a couple of people with Todd, and so I met Todd and his partner, and then I had Phil and Kevin. Kevin's family they've sold it all now. They have the Denver West Office Park that had 26 buildings. They're each 250,000 square feet, like 4-story buildings. And then they had the land that Cardinal Mills Mall is on. They still own the land. They get a payment for the land. And the Stevenson family. They own Stevenson Toyota, Stevenson Chevrolet, Jaguar, Lexus. They own like a bunch of car dealerships. They sold it all for like $1 billion total. All the land, they still own the land the dealerships are on, the malls on. But they don't run any of the business. They sold it for almost $1 billion. So it was Kevin's family. And Kevin's in Kansas City. So I'll connect you to him because you're pretty close to him.
That's great.
Yeah, his side of the family, his mom's brother was Chuck Stevenson, and Chuck, so Chuck Stevenson started the whole auto dealership and real estate back in the late 50s and 60s.
Wow.
It's kind of cool because it's like he came out to Denver, and we actually went by their offices and walked in. Kent Stevenson came out, and that's his cousin. They look almost exactly like family. And they came out and met us, and Ken Stevenson's all over TV because he does a lot of stuff like his dealerships with like Colorado Avalanche players and Denver Nuggets players and all that. So he's all over. So it's kind of cool meeting him.
Yeah, sure. Well, this was great.
So yeah, like I said, anytime you guys need anything, it's like I said, I'll give you that schedule and I give it to you, Tanya. But it's like it has my phone number on there, and it has my email address, and it has like 7 days what I generally am working on every day. Generally Sundays I'm working on the home base. When you guys see home base, you'd be like, because you guys can use it as well. You have access to it. You need to find a pharmacy. You need to find movie tickets. It's kind of like all those platforms. And I just was doing that because that could be a cash cow. There's 15 million users of OpenAI GPT. That's like for that. If I get them, it's like $10 a month. That's I can get a lot of people on there because it's just go on there using it to use these prompts like an AI. Can you find me movie tickets to this theater? Can you find me a plumber in Ocala, Florida that does this? Can you show me, unlike Craigslist, can you show me their complaints and their licensing? So it'll go to the AHJ permitting, pull up their licensing, and it'll pull up any complaints.
Wow.
So I'm gonna get it all, and you guys have access to that as well. Like
so could you also find say like a general contractor?
Oh yeah,
so
you can use it.
Look at like a flip thing, but you're not a handyman, so you can find.
So I had to replace my car in October, and I wanted another Subaru Outback because they're really good in snow, and so I can go to see. And I'm in Colorado, so I put in the VIN numbers. I got 4 cars off cars.com, and I put in the VIN numbers and found out a dealer in Colorado was selling a salvage title. A car has a salvage title. So I did all my research using my AI program, and I wrote up like a 3-page PDF and took it with me when I went to buy the car.
Nice.
So I didn't have to pay Carfax because Carfax is only accurate when it comes to body because insurance companies and body shops have to report for insurance claims. So for mechanical reasons, if it's not like a dealership, which the dealerships report to Carfax, if it's just a mom and pop auto repair shop, they don't report. So I had one because the car that blew up, the engine, it literally was great on the Carfax, but it was not accurate. Because there was stuff wrong that wasn't reported. So I'm doing that as like a cash cow because if I go out and get 100,000 subscribers at that, I can sit there and go, hey, then I make this available to real estate investors who are like, because the other thing is the deal machine, PropStream. I think PropStream was like $6.99 a month. But like if you sign up for a year, it's like $500 a month. It's like $6,000. You get the year and you have to pay it all at once. This is people get this and they own it for life. Don't have to give a penny. It's the same thing. So it's like I'm like, I'd rather have people go out there and just get something they own and they can make it work and then make it your own because you can't make Deal Machine or PropStream your own. You have to go through them every time. And if they go out of business, you go out of business. If they're selling that lead to 100 people, they're selling that lead to 100 people.
Yeah.
You guys are basically developing your own leads that meet your exact criteria, and you can change it on the fly. You can decide tonight I want to do RV parks, and tomorrow you can put in all the stuff for RV parks yourself. And and if you need help, then just hit me up, and I can go and try to build it and play with it. Like because you guys have to go out there and be working on the real estate deals. My whole thing is I'll be working on the back end, trying to build what you guys, hopefully I get feedback, from everybody saying, hey, we need this, can we tweak that, can we do that? Then I can go and do that, and then it's good for everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
That's great.
So Tanya, I'll get that link to you as soon as I'm off.
Thank you for everything.
I'll get you the PDFs. Yeah, and then like I said, every Thursday night, I generally do these on Wednesdays. Like I said, I'm trying, but every Thursday nights are like our associate session. That starts at 5 my time, so an hour, and we've done that. We've done 300 of them. So
cool. This was great. I appreciate it. Nice to talk to you again, Nate. And nice to meet you as well, Tanya.
I know the last time we talked was probably over a year ago.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
There's people in the group that just come and go. It's like they're doing something, they need some help, they hit me up, and then it's like, and then there's people I talk to every day. So I'm like cool with that,
Yeah. Well, again, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. This is great. So
yeah, and I'll do more of these. And like I said, in the Facebook group, I post them. And the YouTube, there's also the YouTube channel. But the Thursday nights are all unlisted; they're private. But I do have about 300 that are just open to the public on YouTube as well. And I put a lot of stuff out there as well.
Yeah, great.
So there's a lot of good out there, good stuff. All right, guys.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Cool.